Gen 2 competitive tier list for Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl. Starting off with Meganium. Meganium's kind of in a rough spot because a Leech Seed tank in Gen 4 only decks can't really be that bad, right? However, it is Meganium, and there is something blasphemous about saying, yo, Typhlosion is B tier, and then Meganium is on the same tier, but with the way that Typhlosion's eruption is kind of the entire thing about the Pokemon, if you get walled out or take any kind of chip damage, then you're kind of useless, so you're like a strong B tier on the Typhlosion, but not reliable enough for A tier, and definitely not like Giga Busted always works for the S tier. So, tentative, since Johto is kind of weird. Like, that's gonna be the thing here. Some Pokemon Johto, pretty strong. Others, they make the tier list kind of awkward. Like, I mean, do we need to elaborate any further about that? And also that. Yeah, like, that's pretty much it. Like, Skarmbliss defines Johto, and then everything else just kind of gets seated in the tier list according to that. And then at the same time, where does Feraligatr go? It seems slightly stronger than Typhlosion because that Sheer Force Waterfall, no liquidation, but doesn't really matter. That Sheer Force Waterfall, pretty strong. Dragon Dance, also pretty strong. So do we just go ABC, AAB? Like, again, it's kind of a weak generation, but defined by two of the strongest Pokemon ever. So we're going to keep an eye on that. Oh, man. People gonna get mad if I put Furret in a bad tier because Pokemon's become such a meme. I don't know. Gotta finish that. So it's like, yeah, we got Furret walking its way down the tier list. Same thing for Noctowl, Ladian. Furret's got like the helping hand follow me though, but that's more doubles. I actually haven't even looked at the Furret to really figure it out. Alright, so 90 base speed isn't complete trash, and it's got like agility baton pass. So lead Furret, focus sash, agility, baton pass. Can it do other things? Like there's like scarf shenanigans. Like Furret has maybe, like it's a normal type Pokemon that might have some tricks and like pure status shenanigans. So yeah, let's put Furret at C tier. Aryados. I've seen people like try to make the Aryados work and like try to set up with it and stuff. It's got the Sucker Punch. Does it even get like, what's the sticky web situation for Brilliant Diamond, Shining Pearl? It exists. I feel like this Pokemon's just a free win though. Like if you're trying to set up the sticky web or something, maybe everything's so anti-stall that there's not a lot of rapid spin or even defog, even though this is the defog generation. So it might stick around, but I mean, then you're just making the game like a 5v6 because the Aryados is free. I've never seen it as a threat, even though I know it can be some kind of lead Pokemon. Crobat's definitely A tier though. Like Crobat's high A tier, if anything, because it's got the speed. You can go Curse into some kind of like White Herb shenanigans. I love that Crobat, one of the fastest Pokemon in the game. And then it's also one of the few toxic Pokemon and surprisingly tanky and has Roost. So that's just stupid. Like, Crowbat gets away with a lot of stupid things. Lantern, it's got Stockpile. It's also got pretty good coverage. This Pokemon is just kind of mean. So, I mean, I think Lantern's, like, bottom, like, B- tier, but, like, more usable than a C tier Pokemon. It's gotta be. Now, Togetic. It's kind of a weird one because there's no Eviolite. So the question is Togetic viable without the Eviolite? I'm gonna say no, but I just kind of want to put it there for consideration. Like, hey, we have some, like, once viable Eviolite Pokemon, but no Eviolite means weird things gonna happen. And then, like, again, is this just the generation being weak outside of, like, the super OPs to where we can maybe inflate everything for the generation? Because, like, Xatu's got Magic Bounce, and that's really strong. So it's like, it has one of the best abilities in the game, can like set up Tailwind support for the team, but in singles it's kind of tricky. It's also got like some statusy things it wants to do. Like the Xatu isn't bad, but B tier sounds a little too high. But for Johto Pokemon, B tier's alright. I don't know, but yeah, like so with the Magic Bounce and limited decks, maybe Xatu's got some B tier shenanigans. And then like it just feels weird saying Ampharos is worse than that, but Ampharos is worse than that. Can't really do much and doesn't provide threat and just has like a lot of Pokemon that are better than it. Blossom, though, I'm going to put in the A tier because Quiver Dance Blossom, that's how you win games. Quiver Dance Blossom is absolutely filthy. Azumarill, also A tier. Like, that's the weird thing. Like, every Pokemon Johto is either A tier or borderline useless. It's kind of weird like that, but Belly Drum, Azumarill on the huge power. If it happens, it happens, and a lot of Pokemon have a hard time, like, just hitting into that typing consistently and reliably. After that, we got Sudowoodo. Usable because of Sturdy, and that's about it. C tier. Politoed. Drizzle too strong, man. Even in, like, singles, especially in doubles. There's, like, slightest consideration for doubles on these tier lists, but this is mostly like, yo, 6v6 singles. What you gonna do? I mean, like, Politoed brings Drizzle, gets stab rain boosted hits, and is just nasty on Scarf. And it can just Scarf until it goes down, and then come into, like, some kind of Swift Swim for a couple of turns, and just snowball the game on advantage. Jumpluff, A tier Pokemon. I personally think that Jumpluff is severely, criminally underrated. Unless there's, like, some weird stuff going on with, like, what it has in Generation 4 Brilliant Diamond, Shining Pearl. But, I mean, you got Cotton Guard. You're one of the fastest Pokemon in the game. And now it's also got the Strength Sap. Well, I mean, it's had the Strength Sap, but... yeah, like, there's enough things here to where you can just ruin your opponent's day. No Toxic, though. I don't know what that means, but yeah, when you're, like, one of the fastest Pokemon, and you can get Unkillable here, I like it. And you can also, like, Leech Seed. And then, yeah, like, Cotton Guard, Strength Sap, Subseed with max hit point special defense. So you're still, like... Well, actually, no, you can't go max hit point special defense because you want the speed. So, I mean, like, this is still very annoying to deal with if it goes off. It's pretty much the Whimsicott of Generation 4, and Whimsicott don't exist. So I'm thinking A tier. Like, that's practically Prankster. Yanma, I don't know why I didn't get rid of that. There's no Yan Mega here. Sunflora, not the most useless Pokemon, tricky to use, but you can actually do things with it in a surprising way. So it's like C tier, you know, Chlorophyll. Chlorophyll happens, like you have a Pokemon. Well, actually maybe not, because it's only 30 speed. I thought Chlorophyll let it get away with a bit more. It's a Pokemon. I've seen it do things before. You can cheese with it, like bottom of C tier then, but like not completely useless. Quagsire though, we need more B tier Pokemon. I'm like, Quagsire isn't A tier, but the Unaware makes it good. Like, you can just use a Quagsire and sometimes you win because of it. Johto is rough. I'm having a hard time, guys, not gonna lie. Both of the evolutions are A tier. Like, Espeon is either an insane sweeper or an insane setup Pokemon or an insane baton passer, and Umbreon is just one of the fattest tanks in the game. So it does lose Toxic. So, like, Toxic Stall Umbreon doesn't have it, but Curse, Foul Play, Wish, Protect, that was always a thing too. Man, how nasty do you get with that? Like, Curse, Foul Play, what if you go for Defense Berry? Like, we don't have the Moringa Berry, which was super crazy, but wrong thing. I don't remember what the berry is, because Apricot for special defense? Yeah. Like, Apricot, Umbreon, you can get to that position, and then, like, you have +3 defense, wishing for everything. No, wait, it's not the Foul Play, it's the Payback that it wants. The Foul Play is under the Toxic Stalling without the damage. Got it a little confused right there because it uses the opponent's deck. Yeah, I know how the game works, guys. Again, just kind of like struggling on the on this. And I'll put Murkrow, even without Eviolite, because we have a bit of a power regression in the game, and Prankster is still ridiculous. So Murkrow on that B tier is fair, because it's still going to outspeed you, hit you with a Feather Dance, now you can't do anything to it. It roosts, it gets a little set up. Then what can you do to the Murkrow? Nothing. So yeah, the Prankster means, like, it can still get away. It's a cheeky little boy. Where do we put Slowking? Because Slowking can set up like Slowbro. Kind of do some like Calm Mind shenanigans. Calm Mind Iron Defense, gets unkillable. I'm pretty sure like Slowking is just the Pokemon. Like, Calm Mind. Iron Defense, was that Tutor? Ooh, Iron Defense was Tutor. Never mind then. Calm Mind Curse is uglier. But then you do not have the Recover. What? No, it's Slack Off, that's what you want. There we go. I was like, this thing gets 50% of its health back somehow. And then you just run like a neutral move like the Ice Beam, or you risk it all on the Scald. It's gotta be B tier. Like, I think you get that going your B tier. You also got some good tank stats, 95, 80, 110. But also a lot of weaknesses. Maybe C tier. Maybe there's just better setup Pokemon. Like in a vacuum, it's pretty decent, but then when you compare it to other setup Pokemon, it's whatever. Unknown technically exists, but I guess we'll just put these in D tier. Wobbuffet. Where does Wobbuffet go? Because I think the spell tag, or not spell tag, shadow tag shenanigans are vastly overrated. So I mean, but it is like B tier. Like you do trap, and then you do wreck people's day if you have like just the right setup and they only have damage options into you. So you're gonna get something with the Wobbuffet, but it's also very exploitable at the same time. Girafarig. Girafarig isn't a Pokemon. Fortress. I feel like in Gen 4, for the time, Fortress was A tier when you just go like sack lead shenanigans. But again, a very exploitable Pokemon. Probably B tier. Just kind of works, but I don't think people are going to adopt it. Pokemon has evolved beyond Fortress Cheese. Dunsparce. Dunsparce is a B tier Pokemon. Dunsparce is viable because like Serene Grace, you go Thunder Wave, Rock Slide, Paraflinch onto Dunsparce, and that works. That's viable. You can also like Roost and stuff. Steelix is like C tier, exploitable. Granbull is C tier. Like the Battle Tower Granbull usually messes me up with like Intimidate and then just being way too tanky. But overall, like in a real game, you're not going to get away with those kinds of things. Now the real question is, where does Quillfish go? I think Quillfish can be a nasty Pokemon because it does have the Minimize, it does have the Stockpile, and it is one of the few toxic Pokemon left in the game, but it struggles to find status, or not status, healing. You got Rest, and that's it. Like, what if you go Rest Talk, Minimize Toxic? That is a toxic moveset. It's got Surf, Swords Dance, Swift Swim, Intimidate? Wait, when did it get hidden ability? Intimidate. But then, those are pitiful defenses, dude. If only it was like slightly more. Yeah, it's C tier. I think it's got like B tier. It's got like an A tier moveset, but just C tier, like D tier stats, making it C tier. Like it can still show up. Like you get Minimized and then you get lucky, and then you just beat with the Quillfish, which is kind of funny. Scizor's S tier. Pokemon's always nasty. Like you just set up Swords Dance, Bullet Punch one-shots everything, or you can just kind of like close out games with coverage, like Knockout. It's got Roost to stick around. Banded Scizor's also just very strong. Again, it's like the weird thing about Gen 2 is like the separation between S plus A tier and then all the tiers below it is a chasm. This is a canyon gap right here. So I mean, it'd almost be like this. Like that's Johto effectively. If we just ignore like, Typhlosion C tier feels so bad. But I mean, that is effectively where we're at. Maybe it's Typhlosion being like the only B tier Pokemon, which means we actually gave us some room for this one. So B, Typhlosion in like some kind of mid tier, and then we go for the light green. And like that's how this gen be looking, guys. Shuckle, I want to say A tier. But then sometimes just Shuckle doesn't do it, because like it just sits there and it does nothing menacingly while being unkillable, but it's not progressing the game state. And I feel like Stall just isn't effective in Pokemon because the players have evolved. So Shuckle being B tier, like we introduced B tier at just the right time. Mancine I think is one of the best special tanks in the game. Steeker A tier, Sleeper A tier. We just kind of going wherever. I've never liked Heracross. I've always felt Heracross is like super easy to beat. It's really just too slow and has too many weaknesses off of that bug typing to kind of get away with anything. Ursaring, D tier, like, it doesn't really do much. Magcargo, D tier. Like, you can make it a dedicated physical tank and actually do something with it, which is kind of nifty, but overall not crazy. Piloswine might as well just be off the list. Then we got Corsola. Weird thing is, Corsola received a lot of buffs, but then never got used. Yo, like, how does this happen? Plus 10 hit points, plus 10 defense, plus 10 special defense. On a Pokemon that has Recover. So we got Corsola, recover. I mean, if it had other things to do and not a billion weaknesses, then yes. But I think like this has to be C tier. Like there's like viability, amnesia, recover. I believe there's enough here for someone to put something together and make a decent Corsola, especially after the buffs and especially in reduced decks. The buffs weren't enough to make it keep up in Gen 7, but maybe in Gen 4 only we got something. But then everyone's running like anti-stall and anti-setup. Octillery's got moody shenanigans. That's enough to put into C tier. We have seen this Pokemon do things. Like, Delibird has a lot of priority and some setup potential and wacky coverage. Yo, let's put Delibird in the C tier to throw people off. Alright, we're starting to fat out this list, but we're getting there. Houndoom's D tier. Kingdra's a B tier Pokemon if I've ever seen one. Donphan. This is in the same realm as Heracross for me, to where it's like severely overrated. Like, oh man, you go Ice Shard after you set a Stealth Rocks. That just sounds like free lunch for me if I'm playing against it. So like, yeah, whenever these Pokemon, like, people love them. People love to like just have this on a team and feel strong, and I've never once been threatened by them. So that's why I'm putting C tier. Porygon 2, even without the Eviolite, I think it exists as a viable Pokemon in Generation 4. So here's where we just have like meta-defining, still relevant to this day, strong and even stronger because of Dex Cut, weirdly good enough, viable, bad, well, bad, but usable, unusable. That's where our tier list is. I think it makes sense. Like, I think this works, right? All right. Stantler's just unusable, unless maybe there's some D tier shenanigans I'm overlooking, but I'm pretty sure it's unusable. Smeargle. Is it still A tier? Like, it's not gonna Geomancy. It's not gonna Dark Void anymore, because that nerf was a long time ago. Moody got nerfed. Ugh, man. All the fun stuff, like, yeah, that's the thing, like, Smeargle was a Worlds staple forever, and then Game Freak was like, nah, we can't have this thing show up and be dumb literally every time it hits the field. So now it's just been nerfed to not being fun anymore. Like, the Pokemon shouldn't be allowed to be fun, but now it's like really not allowed to be fun. It can't even do like swag play. It can't do anything anymore. But I feel like when you have an infinity moveset, it can always do something. Just not like it used to. Hitmontop's B tier and like B plus tier in doubles. I don't know about the singles Hitmontop. Haven't seen that in a while. The Intimidate stalling with some priority pressures, probably usable. I just like the B tier being the way it is, where like you can look at this, say Typhlosion in B tier next to Shuckle and Kingdra. That's probably about as fair as it gets for a tier list. Like, maybe A tier is kind of messy, depending on, like, some of your picks or how that plays out and stuff. Like, the S tier and B tier have to be the most accurate things ever said about Johto. At least that's what I'm going for. Miltank is C tier. Miltank's viable. I almost want to put Miltank C tier, but I just made that whole thing about B tier. Like, Miltank C+. Just take that into consideration. Like, we've seen this thing roll in Fan Fridays. Oh, man. Raikou, Entei, and Suicune. Like, that whole squad is A tier, except for maybe Entei. Yo, Entei B tier. Yo, again, like this, I'm trying, like the upper end, because again, it's just the chasm. You go B tier chasm, and then like what do you make of the Johto Pokemon, because they're so messy. But then like we have just strong Pokemon above it. Oh, and Tyranitar in S tier. You gotta. Almost feels blasphemous not putting Suicune at C tier, or not C tier, S tier then. Yo. Like, if we just delete all this. There goes all my hard work. There goes the last, like, 15 minutes. If we just delete all this, that is, like, the most accurate Johto tier list, right? Like, that feels right. And I'm happy with it. Yeah, I'm happy with that. So, hope you guys enjoy the video. Comment your thoughts down below. Like, share, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Hope you guys enjoy the video. Hope you all have a nice day. Thank you very much for watching.